Well, our priority, speaking on the governor's behalf, is to, promote jobs and business in Virginia. We know that's what drives our economy. That's what pays for schools, roads, medical care. But, I think a couple of things that will be on the radar screen this year in Richmond, certainly ethics. We need to put more teeth. Virginians deserve better from our representatives. So I think we'll see a lot of that. And, something that we're going to continue to work for is nonpartisan redistricting. That's what makes strong democracy. There are too many races here in the Commonwealth that aren't competitive, and that's not the way it should be. And then finally, something that we've been talking about, and certainly as a healthcare provider, Medicaid expansion. There is no excuse from a moral point of view that we're not providing coverage for up to 400,000 Virginians. And from a business perspective, a lot of people need to be reminded, right now we're handing $5.2 million a day to surrounding states who we're competing with. So we need to put the politics aside and do what's in the best interest of the Commonwealth.
Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam, that is a huge list. I'm depressed just listening to the battles. How do you get up to fight that every morning? What keeps you going?
Well, we certainly, speaking on behalf of the Democratic Party, we have principles and values that are very strong, that mean a lot to us, and we'll continue to fight for those. We also, though, have to realize that things in Richmond happen through compromise, so we need to be open-minded. If ideas are coming from the other side of the aisle, we need to be open to them and discuss things. And again, it's all about public service, and it's all about doing what's in the best interest of the Commonwealth. So that's why I'm there, and I think that's why, our administration, that's what we're trying to do this year.
You mentioned friends you've made over this past session. Any of them looking to be hopeful to support some of the policies you're talking about?
Well, there are some, and I think with what's happening in Virginia this past year with our previous governor, certainly something that's high on the radar screen is going to be ethics reform, and that's really not a Democratic or a Republican issue. It's what's best for Virginia. And also, I think most people that you talk to, they understand the importance of getting the politics out of redistricting, and seem like we just went through that, but believe it or not, 2021 is not that far away, so we're going to be right back in it, and it's something we need to keep discussing.
Yeah, this is something I bring up every time with folks that don't get it. The average voter doesn't get why redistricting is so huge and why it's such an issue. Because what you have is electeds picking their voters. And depending on your neighborhood, the density you're talking about, you can pretty much shore up a district for a generation. And voters don't get that.
Well, you're really right, and it's become a science. I mean, we can walk through a neighborhood and tell, who votes which way. And when I ran first back in '07 for the 6th district in the Senate, there were, 140 races that year, 100 Senate races, 100 delegate races, 40 Senate races, and only 17 were competitive. And that's just not good democracy. And so the people deserve better. And I hope the people will voice their opinions and let their representatives know that, let's move on and do what's right.
And again, that is a threat for me to our entire democratic process. It is absolutely the single biggest threat in terms of representation being reflected in the elected officials.
Absolutely, no question about it. So
what other battles are firing you up these days?
Well, we're responsible for the budget, and Terry's done a great job. He has great people in his cabinet, and I sit on the cabinet, and so we're fortunate in Virginia to have a balanced budget each year, and so he's worked with both sides of the aisle to be able to get that done. We still want to improve our access for our mentally ill in Virginia. I chair the task group for mental illness. And then finally, pre-K education is something that you've heard me talk about a lot. And so we have the Commonwealth Council for Childhood Success, which I chair. We just about 2 weeks ago learned that we have a $70 million grant to help with pre-K education. So those are some of the things that I'll continue to work on. And again, we have our principles and values, but a lot of these are nonpartisan issues. So hopefully we'll be able to get some good things done.
Sure. Well, anything else you want us to remember or you want to leave us with?
No, I just would. It's great to be back here in Northern Virginia, and just looking at the crowd here today as you send off your representatives to Richmond, to have that kind of involvement and enthusiasm means so much. And I'm proud to be here, proud to be part of the Democratic Party, and work with the good folks up here in Northern Virginia.
Well, if you want to announce anything anytime soon, sir, you let me know. It's an absolute pleasure having you here.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you, sir.
All
Take
right.
care. Enjoy the day.